There's something about forests that makes them feel wrong at night. The trees twist into unnatural shapes. The silence stretches just a little too long, and the shadows between the trunks feel deeper than they should be. People go in and sometimes they don't come out. Some of these moments were captured on camera, and others were recounted by the lucky few who made it back. But all of them will leave you questioning what really lurks beyond the tree line. And what better way to start than with a birthday celebration that turned into an absolute nightmare? A simple photograph should have captured a memory. Instead, it revealed something no one was supposed to see. It was supposed to be a fun, carefree birthday trip. A young woman and her best friend had planned a quiet celebration deep in the woods, far from the noise of everyday life. They spent the evening laughing, roasting marshmallows over the fire, and taking pictures to remember the night. But one photo captured something they could never forget. In the image, the woman's best friend sits cross-legged by the fire, her face lit with a warm glow. But behind her, just beyond the reach of the firelight, a face is staring right at them. Pale, hollow-eyed, and sunken, it barely peeks out from the darkness, just enough to be seen. The woman's breath caught in her throat. They were alone. There was no one else in their camp, and no other hikers were nearby. And yet, there it was, a face, watching. Panic set in instantly. They turned their flashlights to the spot where the face had been, but there was nothing there. The trees stood silent, unmoving, as if they had never held anything at all. But the picture told a different story, shaking. They packed up their gear in record time, their laughter from earlier replaced with terrified silence. The woman sent the photo to a few friends. Once she had service, desperate for a rational explanation, a trick of the light, a blur from movement. But the more people she showed, the worse it got. Because everyone saw the same thing. It wasn't a trick. The face was there, and it wasn't human. They never went back to that forest. And to this day, the woman still refuses to look at that photo alone. Because sometimes, the things you capture on camera are looking right back at you. A face in the shadows is disturbing enough. But what if it appeared somewhere even more impossible, staring at you through the glass, from a place where no one should be? Yellowstone National Park is known for its breathtaking landscapes, geysers, and diverse wildlife. But in 2017, one visitor's camera captured something far more unsettling. A Reddit user's brother had spent the day photographing the park's wildlife. That evening, their father transferred the photos onto his computer to get a better look. At first, everything seemed normal. Bison, hot springs, towering trees. But then he noticed something that made his blood run cold. In one particular image, a face stared directly through the car's windshield. It wasn't the photographer. It wasn't anyone from their group. The pale, almost translucent face hovered just behind the glass, eyes fixed straight ahead. Confused and unnerved, the family inspected the photo more closely. No one had been outside the car when it was taken. No figures were near their vehicle. And yet, the face was unmistakable. It had the sunken features of something old, too old. Hoping for a rational explanation, the Reddit user posted the image online, asking for help. Could it have been a reflection, a trick of the light? But photo experts and skeptics alike came to a chilling conclusion. The image was real. Some suggested it could be the ghost of a long-lost traveler, one of the many who had met their end in Yellowstone's treacherous terrain. Others pointed to the park's dark history, where pioneers and explorers had vanished without a trace. To this day, no one has been able to explain the face. But one thing is certain: whoever, or whatever it was watching. A ghostly face watching from the shadows is terrifying enough. But what happens when the unknown isn't just a spirit, but something or someone very real, lurking just out of sight? Chris and Jazz, two paranormal investigators, were no strangers to eerie encounters. But on one particular night, deep in the remote Adirondack forest, they found themselves in a situation that left them questioning everything. Armed with spirit boxes and cameras, they set out to explore the silent woods, searching for signs of the supernatural. But their investigation took a disturbing turn when they spotted a lone truck crawling slowly along the dirt road. Once, that was strange. Twice, that was terrifying. The vehicle wasn't just passing through, it was circling, watching. Their unease grew as the truck reappeared, headlights flickering through the trees. No other vehicles had been on the road all night, and they were miles away from the nearest town. Chris and Jazz tried to rationalize it. Maybe a lost hunter? Maybe someone searching for a wounded animal? But deep down, they knew something wasn't right. Deciding to put some distance between themselves and the truck, the investigators pressed deeper into the woods. That's when their spirit box crackled to life. A name, Mark. Then a chilling message. You need protection.
Could you tell me, is there anything we should be worried about here tonight?
I'm following you.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate. Do you mean
Protection.
harm?
The warning sent a shiver down their spines. Protection? From what?
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Protection from
I'm
what?
dead.
Was the spirit trying to warn them about the truck? Or was there something even darker hiding in the trees? Chris and Jazz never found out. They abandoned their investigation that night, leaving behind only one question. Had they been hunted by something supernatural? Or something far more human? A mysterious truck stalking them was one thing, but when the spirit box started calling out names and issuing warnings,
What the fuck was that?
it became clear that something or someone was trying to get their attention. What they found next turned their ghost hunt into something far more unsettling. Chris and Jazz had dealt with strange messages from the spirit box before, but this time it felt different.
Is there anybody here that wants to communicate? My name's Yasko. I'm here.
Catherine is lost.
The voices weren't just responding, they were trying to warn them. First, a voice named Catherine came through, but she was quickly overshadowed by another presence. Mark. According to the spirit box, Mark had drowned nearby. But before they could ask more questions, the device crackled with something even more chilling. You need protection. The warning sent an eerie chill through the air. Protection from what?
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Protection from
I'm
what?
dead.
They had already encountered the strange truck circling the woods. Was that connected? Or was there something else lurking in the darkness? That's when they stumbled across the tackle box. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary fishing box left behind, but when Jazz opened it, his blood ran cold. Inside was a mirror and a pile of shredded money. Chris let out a nervous laugh. Do tackle boxes usually come with mirrors? What, to check your beard while you fish? But there was something deeply wrong about the find. The mirror's surface was smeared with a sticky residue, and the money, if that's what it was, looked like it had been deliberately destroyed. Then it hit them. Just minutes earlier, the spirit box had mentioned money and mirrors. Coincidence? Maybe. But in the middle of a dark, isolated forest where warnings of danger were already echoing through their equipment, not likely. They had been searching for ghosts. Now it felt like something was searching for them. Finding disturbing objects in the forest never ends well. Some things are left behind for a reason. And in this next story, a YouTuber learned the hard way that taking something out of the woods might mean bringing something or someone back with you. YouTuber Bloodzack12 and his friend had heard rumors about a haunted forest nearby. Most of the stories sounded like urban legends, disappearing hikers, shadowy figures, whispers from nowhere. It was supposed to be just another ghost hunt for their channel. At first, the woods were silent, too silent. They wandered for a while before stumbling across something strange. Lying on a pile of filthy discarded clothing was an old opera mask. The design was intricate but unnerving, cracked porcelain, hollow eyes, and an exaggerated painted-on smile. A few minutes later, they found another one. This one was hanging from a tree branch, swaying slightly despite the stillness of the forest. It felt staged, like someone had left it there intentionally. Against better judgment, they took the mask. As they debated what to do next, Zach suddenly froze. His camera caught something moving in the brush ahead, a hunched-over figure dressed in all black. Then it looked up. Without hesitation, the figure rushed toward them. Zach and his friend bolted. Footsteps crashed behind them, getting closer. Whoever or whatever was chasing them wasn't just some lost camper. The footage cuts off after their frantic escape, but Zach never clarified what happened after. Some believe the video was staged, but others aren't so sure. Who leaves opera masks scattered in the woods? And why did a figure appear the moment they took one? One thing's for sure, some things aren't meant to be taken. Being chased by an unknown figure in the woods is terrifying, but sometimes it's what doesn't chase you that's even worse. When something strange just stands there, staring, unmoving, it leaves questions that might never be answered. While camping in New Jersey's Double Trouble State Park, Heine and her sister spotted something that sent an instant chill down their spines. At first, it looked like a white shape in the distance, barely visible through the trees. They figured it was a plastic bag caught in the water, or maybe just a reflection on the lake's surface. But as they got closer, they realized it was a person, a woman, standing in the water. Her clothes were white and completely still, except for the slight ripple of the lake around her legs. She wasn't swimming. She wasn't fishing. She wasn't even moving, just standing. They watched for a few minutes, expecting her to wade out or react to their presence. But she never did. Not once did she look at them. Not once did she say a word. Hina pulled out her phone and started recording, zooming in as much as she could. But even through the screen, something felt wrong. Finally, they called out. No response. They tried again, louder. Still nothing. The air grew thick with unease. Why wasn't she moving? Was she even alive? Not wanting to push their luck, they left. When they checked the footage later, the eerie silence of the moment became even creepier. Some believe she was a lost camper, a mentally ill woman, or even a ghost. Others wonder if something was keeping her there. All Hina and her sister know is that they never found out what happened to her. And maybe that was for the best. Some things in the woods can be explained. Others stay buried in the darkness, waiting for the next unlucky soul to stumble across them. Whether it's a ghost, a stalker, or something far worse, one thing is clear. Not everything in the forest wants to be found, but some things do.